I might have just been a really weird kid, but I remember going to movie theaters and watching like superhero movies and leaving and starting to think and play with the different mannerisms and physicalities of that character. Like walking out of the theater after watching James Bond or Ninja Turtles, and like, how would they walk? How would they talk? How would they stand? How would they present themselves? How would they respond in different situations? And since I was little, like I was always fascinated with getting into the mindset and embodying these different characters and taking little things from certain characters that I liked and applying it. And, you know, when I was little, like I just had so much imagination and this desire to like play make-believe, you know, like kids like play dress up and like they dress like Superman or Batman. And like, I did that without really dressing up. Like I just, in my mind, I'm like, oh, I'm going to be like so-and-so right now. Like, how would they behave? And I remember getting into a fight. I must have been in middle school, like 7th grade, maybe, on the playground with, I don't remember the context. I just remember being the new kid in the school and getting picked on. And I had just watched a movie. I think it must have been like The Three Musketeers or something like that. Because I remember like being in this altercation with this other kid and thinking like, how would the Three Musketeers approach this? Like, how would they handle this fight? And I remember fighting like this kid as though as one of the Three Musketeers, which seems like a really weird thing, but I found it really useful in so many different aspects of my life, going into different arenas, whether it was chess or snowboarding or running or martial arts, combat sports, rock climbing, business, to have this embodiment of a character, of these traits of something beyond ourselves that we're trying to live in alignment with. And this was something that, like, when I started writing science fiction and fantasy, was actually really one of the things that drew me to it, like the act of writing fiction and putting myself into the character that I'm writing about. I loved that stuff. I loved it. And so this is a really long preamble, but I want to talk about a book that I just read recently that I think would serve a lot of you, high performers, entrepreneurs, business owners, family people, whatever, that are trying to go into a domain of their life and they need to be at their peak. Because like in reading this book, I realized that a lot of the things that he talks about are things that I had just been inherently doing my entire life without really being cognizant of it or the benefits or the positives. Once I read this book, I was like, holy crap, this is me. Like, I do this in like so many different facets and domains of my life. I was like, that is crazy. The book itself is called The Alter Ego Effect by Todd Herman. The Power of Secret Identities to Transform Your Life. And Todd Herman, he's like a high performance coach that's worked with just all sorts of high level CEOs, executives, basketball, sports stars, Olympic athletes, just runs the gamut. And his only goal when working with these people is how to extract the maximum amount of performance in that moment. He's not trying to make them well-rounded, great human beings or whatever like that. He's like taking a skier who needs to go to the Olympics and needs to perform at their best. And he's like, how do I get them to, in the moment, perform at their best? And the solution that he's been utilizing for decades is the creation of an alter ego. And it's really interesting because when you look at the research on this and you like start to uncover how prevalent this is, like in sports stars in particular, like so many individuals time and time again report like, oh yeah, I have this character that I step into once I'm on the court, like Kobe Bryant, Black Mamba. Bo Jackson had his character. I can't remember who it was. Beyonce had her character that she would step onto when she was on stage. I think it was like Stormy Fiery Storm or something like that. I can't remember what the name was, but so many different high performers have like this character, this persona that they step into. And I think you can take this and apply it to your business or to like negotiations or to your family or to like whatever domain that you like, what field of play is what Todd Herman would call this, like whatever field of play that you need to be at your best. And he talks through all these different ways of creating this persona so that it serves you best, and like really getting deeply rooted into that persona's story and its back, its origin story and its deep motivating why. And how it would respond in different situations, so that when you're in that moment of like a heated negotiation, let's say, like you aren't responding as yourself, you're responding as this persona. And this isn't to say like you're faking it till you're making it, or you're pretending to be something that you're not. It's not that. This is the alter ego, is all the best parts of yourself in that moment manifesting how you want them to. So it's like Clark Kent, Superman. One is the alter ego. You know, it doesn't mean that one is the truer sense of Superman or Clark Kent. They're just different manifestations of him trying to fit into different moments. So this book is like really powerful, actually, the concept at its core. And for me, I've been doing this in like, I remember when I used to fight combat sports, like Taekwondo, Muay Thai, MMA, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Like I embodied certain characters that I would step onto the mat as. Like one in particular that stood out is Brad Pitt's Achilles from Troy. Like the character always just like really resonated with me. With, I don't know if you guys have ever seen that movie, but the fight choreography is beautiful, and Achilles in that movie is just so fluid and beautiful and makes everything look so easy and so calm. And that's the persona that I would step onto when I'd be fighting. I'd be like, I want to be fluid and beautiful and calm, but lethal. When it came to, other areas of my life, when it came to writing, like I would try to project myself as Brandon Sanderson, who is an incredibly prolific writer who just never seems to struggle with creativity or like putting his butt in the seat and actually writing. And I would sit down and be like, okay, now it's time to go into Brandon Sanderson mode. If he can do it, I can do it. And like kind of wearing that hat. There's just so much value in this concept of creating an alter ego that I would highly encourage everybody to check out this book, The Alter Ego Effect by Todd Herman. It's well worth it. It's a quick read. I think you'll walk away with a lot of things to chew on and apply to your life. So if you're struggling in a particular field of play, check out this book and take it to the next level. I think it'll help a lot. So if you got some value out of this, go leave a like, review, share it with somebody else you think will get some value out of it, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.